Welcome back. This is sort of loose episode number 2. In the first one, we talked about the idea of the bow. We went to Andrew, the bow maker, to see how one was made. Now we're trying to figure out what to do with it. We figured a grip that more or less ticks all the boxes, which is the one I would use. I got some pictures of Bottesini's method, for example, and a picture of him holding the bow, which we'll show now, so you can have a look at what he did. It's the same thing. It's been passed down from teacher to pupil, and it's what I do, and it's what my teachers did, and it's what he did. When we talked to Andrew, we were talking about the weight of the bow, which can be anything from like 112 grams up to the middle 140s. But I'm not sure if that isn't important. Of course, if you've got something really heavy, it's going to weigh down on the string. If you have something very light, you'll have to do the work yourself. There's an in-between. I think from 130 to 138 grams is probably the ideal for the bow. This bow's 128 grams, but the balance is the important thing. This bow slightly balances toward the point, but it's quite well balanced in my hand. I think that's the most important thing. The bow's got to be well balanced, because if the bow makes you like this all the time, you're constantly having to correct. So I would like something that just sits in my hand, that I don't particularly feel the point is too heavy. We do need help at the point, but we can supply that leverage ourselves, as I said in the first episode about thumb and first finger, leverage. Anyway, let's go on a little bit. Let's talk about how much hair we should put on the string. Well, that's an issue. If I play on some people say, oh, when you play soft, you should play on the side of the hair. Well, what that's doing, if I do that, my teacher said the most difficult part of playing the bass is to play piano and pianissimo, and he's right. Why? Because if I've got contact with a string, if I just make contact, I'm playing mezzo piano. If I want to do less than that, let's say piano or pianissimo, I have to play off the string. So I'm playing some sort of flautato or flautando, which can make, unless you get used to it, of course, it's more difficult. It's very difficult to play soft. The easy bit's playing loud. How much hair? If we use the edge of the hair, I was talking about the weight going from down my arm to the bow. Well, look, I've had to compromise my hand position. The weight of my arm's gone to my wrist, which is just where I don't want it. I want it down onto the bow and onto the hair. So I would probably learn to play very quietly or very loud with the same hair in the same place. I'd put all this hair on the string, on the bottom notes, so I get a nice wide, fat sound. And since the bow works this way, the bow's a double spring. I forgot to mention that. As we saw from Andrew, the bows begin as a straight stick, and they're bent. They're bent like this. So what we've produced is a wooden spring. It's wood with a memory, so it goes back where it came from. The thing we neglect to think about is the hair as a spring. So when we've concocted a bow, we've actually produced a double spring. I can use that very much to my advantage, double spring. What I can't see is having a double spring and using it sideways. That doesn't make any sense to me. And this is where the people that play on the edge of the hair, I think, it would be a terrible pun, coming unstuck. But however, so I would keep all the hair on the string, on the bottom string and the A string. Then I would, without bending my wrist, I don't want to go like this or that. So without bending my wrist, I'll be slightly on the edge and slightly on the edge on the G string. So if I try to play a harmonic here, I have difficulty. But we gain something in this, because here I can play harmonics with a bow. So I'm getting more bright and high overtones in the sound. So I've got the best of both worlds in a way. I've got a brighter sound on the top strings and a darker sound on the bottom strings without compromising my wrist and my weight chain down to the bow. Where should we play on the string? This is an interesting one. Bottesini says in his book, when he writes about how to bow. He said, if we want to play louder, play nearer the bridge. If we play softer, play nearer the fingerboard. In a way, that's true. And let's talk about why it could be true. Let's let the string down a little bit, just to see. Here, watch, just for the... As I bow, you'll see the amplitude of the string, and it'll be its widest in the middle, and it'll get less and less and less as I go down toward the bridge, where it doesn't move at all. So I've got this idea of ever narrowing thing going down to the bridge. You can see here quite a wide amplitude, and it gets less and less and less as I go here. I'm bowing sort of in the middle between the bridge and the end of the fingerboard. Of course, if I bow here, I'm bowing on a wider amplitude. And the further I go down toward the bridge, the more the string is resisting me, and the smaller the amplitude I have. There we are. So he's right in a way. If I want to bow here, then I'll go further down the string. The sound's getting more intense, but I'm also feeling more resistance from the string. So that's another side. It's not just louder and softer. It's a question of bow rationing as well. So as students, to learn tone production and get to feel the string. We used to do long bows right on the bridge. And we worked and worked and worked, getting slower. Each time I changed the bow, I would try to play half the speed, until, I'm going to have to stand up here. I'll try this again. It's a wonderful bass. It's just been restored. It's a Marconcini. I'll just change the bow, see if that's better. Now I'm going half the speed. And when I change it to point, I'll try to go half the speed again. I'm listening for humming sound in the instrument, so that I'm not choking the sound, I'm letting it out, but I'm using the bow slower, and I'm going to try and go, again, half the speed. When I change again, I'll try and go half the speed. We're aiming for half a minute in one bow. That's our aim. And that'll develop a fantastic feeling for the string and for the bow. It's a very good exercise. We'll sort of call it a day for the moment there. Then we'll come back with episode 3, where we'll talk more. Do subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you have any questions, you could put them in the comment sections below.